Hello, boys and girls. My name is Shelly Ann Kelly, and today we will be looking at mathematics. In mathematics, we will continue to look at numbers. Today's lesson is where we're going to look at two properties in adding and subtracting. All right? Now, our objective for today is at the end of this session, you should be able to state how the properties of commutativity and associativity apply to addition and subtraction. All right? Now, let us look at commutativity. The property of commutativity as it relates to addition. Now, commutativity property of addition is where changing the order of the numbers we're adding does not change the sum. All right, boys and girls, let us say it again. Commutativity of addition, the property of commutativity is where you can change the order in which you have the numbers in which you're adding, and it does not change the sum. So for example, let us look at 4 plus 3. So we have 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. So you have 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you add 3 more to it, 4, 5, 6, 7. What if we should change how we arrange the numbers that we're adding? So instead of having 4 plus 3, now we can have 3 plus 4. And if we add them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it still equals to 7. So we can see that the property, the commutative property of addition is, as it says, you can change or rearrange the numbers that you're adding and the sum does not change. Now, we can represent commutativity, the property of addition, using model, all right? Which means that we can use pictures to represent the amount of things that we are adding. So for example, we have 3 apples plus 2 apples. All right, it is equal to 5 apples. And if you have 2 apples at first and then you add 3 more to it, it is still equal to 5 apples. All right, boys and girls? Now, let us use numbers to present the commutative property of addition. So we have 2 plus 5 plus 6 plus 2. And that is equal to 15, where you have 2 plus 5 equal to 7. 7 plus 6 equals to 13. And when you add 2 to the 13, you're equals to 15. All right, boys and girls? Now, if we should rearrange the numbers that we have, the 2, the 5, the 6, and the 2, let us see if we still have 15 based on the property, commutative property of addition, where we have 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. Then you add 2 to it. 11 plus 2 equals to 13. And then you add another 2 to it. That is equal to 15. Very good. So see, you rearrange the numbers and the sum remains the same. Let us look at rearranging it again. So we have 5 this time, starting with 5, and then we add 2 to it. So you have 5 apples, and you're adding 2 apples to it, 2 more apples. So you have 5 first, and you add 2, that is 7. And then you add 6 more apples to the 7 apples. Now you have 13 apples, and then you add 2 more apples to that. You have 15 apples. Do we understand that, boys and girls? Very good. And then another way, where we have the 2 plus the 2 equals to the 4, and then you add 5 to the 4 equals to 9, then you add 6 to it, and now it's equal to 15. So we had rearranged the numbers as much as possible, and we still have 15 being the sum. Very good, boys and girls. Now, let us look if when we are using commutative property of subtraction, if it's going to be the same. All right, boys and girls? Now, first of all, you know that when we're subtracting, we usually take away the small number from the big number, right? Yes. But let us see if it applies to this property. Now, for the commutative property of subtraction, when you're subtracting two numbers, the order of subtraction changes the answer. All right, boys and girls, it changes the answer. Can you believe it? So if you have 8 things, you have 8 pencils, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you take away 3 of them, you are left with 5. Now, what if we should have 3 pencils, right? 3 pencils, and we're supposed to take away 5 from this, not 5, sorry, boys and girls. If we have 3 pencils and we're supposed to take away 8, remember we're looking at 3 and 8, so we have 3 pencils and we're taking away 8 from it. Can we take away 8 from 3? Now, we're going to pretend that we have $3, right? And our friend wants to borrow $8 from us. If we give the friend the $3, how much money are they without? How much money do we have to give them? How many more, or how much more money? We have $5 more to give. So in this instance, you are actually owing the person, or you are short of $5 in giving the person. So this is where you see that changing the arrangement of the numbers when you are subtracting for the commutative property changes the answer. All right, boys and girls, now let us practice. For example, we have 5 plus 7, and this is a commutative property where you can change the order when you're adding of the numbers that you're adding, and the sum remains the same. Let us see, we're practicing, all right? So you have 5 plus 7. Now, 5 plus 7 equals to 12. Yes, yeah, if you want, you can use your fingers and count, so you have 5 fingers on one hand, and you had 5 more, but you still have 2 more fingers remaining somewhere, so you can borrow your mama's fingers, 2 fingers, and when you add up that 5 plus 5 is equal to 10, and 2 more, that is 12. So 5 plus 7 equals to 12. Very good. Now let us rearrange it now from 5 plus 7. So instead of having 5 plums and adding 7, we're going to pretend now that you have 7 plums and you're adding 5 to it, 5 more plums. All right, boys and girls? So you have 7 plums and you're adding 5 more. And of course, when we add 7 plus 5, again, it's equal to 12. Very good. Now let us practice with subtraction. Now we have 12 items. 12 items. All right, boys and girls? And this time we're going to be taking away 3 from it. So we have 12 items and we're taking away 3 from it. We are left with 12 and we take away 3, we're left with 9. All right, boys and girls? But what if we rearrange the numbers where we have $3, right? And we're pretending now that we're going to the shop. All right, boys and girls? So you have $3 and you're going to the shop to buy, let me see, chocolate. All right? Because I don't want you to eat too much sweets. Or know that we have June plum out. So you're going to the shop to buy June plum. And you have $3. You found $3, but you want a June plum. But guess what? The June plum costs how much money? $12, right? So you have 3 and you're going to take away 12 from it. So you have $3 and you give the shopkeeper the $3. How much money do you have left to pay? You owe the shopkeeper how much money? $9. Do you understand, boys and girls? So when you take away a big number from a small number, you're left in the minus, or you're left owing. All right, boys and girls? So in this case, when you have 3 and you take away 12 from it, you are left with negative 9 or minus 9. All right, boys and girls? All right, let us look at the second property now. This property is called the associative property of addition. When we are adding, the numbers we are adding can be grouped in any order and the sum does not change. Remember, boys and girls, when we have the commutative property of addition, we could rearrange numbers, right? But for the associative property of addition, we can group the numbers. For the associative, we are going to group them. And what it is saying for this property, you can group the numbers in any way you want, and the answer does not change, or the sum. When you add it, that total or the sum, it does not change. All right, boys and girls? For example, we have 3, 2 and 4. So we're going to have 2 plus 3 plus 4. In this instance, the first example that we see on the screen, we're going to be grouping 2 and the 3. So we're going to add them together. And remember, anything that is in bracket when you're working out a sum or a problem, students, anything that is in bracket, you work those out first, all right? So in bracket, you have the 2 plus the 3. We are grouping them, all right? So 2 plus 3 equals to 5, and we're going to add a 4 to it. So 2 plus 3 equals to 5, and we're going to add a 4. Now it's equal to 9. So 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. Now we're looking at that same group of numbers. You have 2 plus 3 plus 4. Right? Now, this time you're going to group the 3 and the 4. So when you have 3 and 4, you have 3 items and you add 4 more to it, that is equal to 7. Now you're going to add 2 to it. So 7 plus 2 equals to 9. Very good. Now you realize for the associative, you can group them like it says and add them accordingly, and the sum does not change. All right, boys and girls? Let us practice. So we have 3, and to the 3 we're adding 5. Then we're adding 20 and 2. So all of these numbers we have, and we're supposed to add them together. All right, boys and girls? So let us group them. We're going to be grouping 3 plus the 5. And then we're going to be grouping the 20 plus the 2. So we have 3 plus 5 equals to 8. And the 20 plus the 2 equals to 22. Now, when you add 22 and 8, that is equal to 30. Very good, boys and girls. All right? Now, let us look at rearranging those same numbers now, or grouping them differently. So we still have the 3 plus the 5 plus the 20 plus the 2. Now we're going to be grouping them differently. So this time we're going to be grouping the 5 and the 20. So we have 3 plus 5 plus 20 plus 2. All right? Grouping the 3, the 5 and the 20, we now have 25. Because when you add 20 plus 5, it's equal to 25. So when you add the 3 plus the 25, you're going to group it again. Then you add another, the 2 that they have there. So we now have 25 plus 3 equals to 28. And then you add the 2 to it. 28 plus 2 equals to 30. And remember when we grouped it the other way, the answer was still 30. And now we group it again, and the answer is 30. So remember, the associative property is where you group it when you're adding. You can group the numbers that you're adding. We call the numbers that we're adding, we call them addends. You can group them in any way. And after you add them, based on your grouping, the answer will be the same. The sum does not change. Let us look at another one. This time we have 3, 4, and 5. So we're adding 4 plus 3 plus 5. Now we're going to be grouping the 4 and the 3. So when you add 4 plus 3, that is equal to 7. And then you add the 5 to it. When you add 7 plus 5, it's equal to 12. Now let us group it another way. Still looking at the 4, the 3, and the 5. Now this time we're going to be grouping the 3 and the 5. So we have 4 plus 8, because 3 plus 5 equals to 8. And you realize that the answer is 12. When you add 8 plus the 4, it's equal to 12. Again, boys and girls, you group it and the answer, the sum does not change. Now, let us look at the associative property of subtraction. Unlike addition, subtraction doesn't have the associative property. All right, boys and girls, what do they mean by that? If you group them, then the answer is not going to be the same. All right, boys and girls. So let us look at, for example, you have 10, and from the 10, you're going to take away 5, and then you're going to take away 3. Because remember, boys and girls, you can't take away 3 numbers at one time, don't? No, you have to take away one from another at one time, and then you take away again, right, boys and girls? So in this case, we're going to group them, all right? We're going to group the 10 and the 5. And we're going to take away 5 from 10, and you're left with 5. And then you're going to take away 3 from it. And if you have 5 things and you give away 3, then you're left with 2. Now, let us regroup now, where we have, in this case, we have 10, and we're going to be taking away 5 and then 3. But now, instead of grouping the 10 and the 5, we're going to be grouping the 5 and the 3. So we have 10, and when you take away 3 from 5, you're left with 2. So this time now, when you take away 2 from 10, now you have 8 remaining. You see that, boys and girls? So you see, associative property of subtraction, is not the same like addition. This time the answer changes. All right, boys and girls? So changing the way of associating the numbers in subtraction changes the answer, which means that when you change the grouping, the way that you group, it's going to change the answer when you finish working out. All right, boys and girls? Now let us practice. So we have 9, and from 9, we're going to be taking away 5, and then we're going to be taking away 3. All right, boys and girls? So we're going to be grouping the 9 and the 5. So if you have 9 things and you take away 5 from it, you're going to be left with 4. And then from the 4, you're going to be taking away 5. All right, boys and girls? Now, if you have 4 plums and you must give your friend 5 plums, how many would they get? They would get 4, and then you would still owe them 1. Right, boys and girls? And that is why you have -1, -1. All right? So when you take away the big number from the small number, you're going to be in minus. You're going to be owing. All right? Now, let us regroup this same number and see if we get the same answer, right, in subtracting. All right? We have the same 9, 5, and 3. And we're going to take away the 5 from the 9 and the 5 from the 3 from all of that. All right? But in this case, we're going to be regrouping them. And this time, I'm going to be grouping the 5 and the 3. And remember, anything in brackets, we're going to look at them first. All right, boys and girls? So we have the 9, and we're going to be taking away 3 from 5. When we take away 3 from 5, we're left with 2. So now we have 9, and we're going to be taking away 2 from it. This time, the answer is 7. Do you see that, boys and girls? So you realize that the associative property of addition, where when you change the grouping and work it out to find the answer and add to find the answer, it will not, and you get the same answer when you group differently. For this subtracting with the associative property, the answer is not going to be the same. All right, boys and girls? So now you have to be careful, because guess what? When you're doing the associative property of subtraction, the answer will not be the same. All right? Now, let us look at who am I. So we're going to be identifying the properties now. So when you have 3 plus 5, and you can rearrange it. So 3 plus 5 equals to 8. And when you rearrange it and have 5 plus 3, it is still equal to 8. That is called which property? Is it associative or the commutative? It is the commutative property of addition. Very good, boys and girls. Now let us look at the next one to the right. We have 6 plus 3 plus 5. And we're going to be grouping the 6 plus the 3. And then we're going to be adding 5 to it. So when you add 6 plus 3, you're equal to 9. And then when you add 5 to it, it's equal to 14. Very good, boys and girls. Now let us look at another way in which we can group them, where we have the 6, and then we're going to group the 3 plus the 5. So 3 plus 5 equals to 8. And when you add 6 to it, that is equal to to 14. So which property is this now? Is it associative or commutative property of addition? It is the associative property of addition, because remember, in associative property, you group the numbers and you can group them in any way and the sum remains the same. Very good, boys and girls. Now let us look at this next one where we have 5 and you're going to take away 4 from it. If you have 5 things and you take away 4, you're left with 1. Now look at another way where we rearrange the numbers and you have 4, and this time you're going to be taking away 5 from it. When you take away 5 from 4, you're going to be left with a negative 1, or you're going to be left in the minus or left owing. So what property is this? Pay attention, boys and girls. Look if it is grouping. So is it the commutative or the associative? It is the commutative property of subtraction. Very good, because you did not group anything. All right, boys and girls? All right, let us look at the next one where we have 8 and you're going to take away 4. You're going to take away 2 and then you take away 4. All right, boys and girls? Now this time we're going to be grouping the 8 and the 2. So when we take away 8, 2 from 8, you have 8 things and you take away 2, you're left with 6. Very good. And if you're left with 6 things and you take away 4 from it, you're going to be left with 2 things. All right, boys and girls? Very good. Now, what if you have 8 things and then you're going to be subtracting 2 from 8, 4 from 2? Now, look at this carefully. We are applying which property of subtraction here, boys and girls? It is associative, because associative property of subtraction is where you group the numbers in any way, and remember that the answer will not remain the same. Now, boys and girls, we are going to be practicing, all right, some more. So this time, I want you to have counters. All right, boys and girls, I want you to have counters now. And for the counters, we're going to pretend that we have 4 things, 4 items. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to be looking at the properties, all right? And then we're going to be adding 2 more items to it. So we have 4, and we add 2 more items. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, boys and girls? And we're going to pretend that these are icicles because they look like fudge icicles, right? So we have 4 fudge or icicles first, and then you get 2 more. So together you have 16. All right, boys and girls? Not 16, you have 6. Where did I go with 16? It is 6, right, boys and girls? Now, what if we have 2 first, and then we add 4 more, you get 4 more. Do you still have 6? Do you still have 6, boys and girls? Yes. So guess what? This is which property? Is it associative or commutative property of addition? It is the commutative property of addition, where you rearrange the numbers and the answer remains the same. The sum remains the same. Very good, boys and girls. Do you understand that? All right. Now, what if this time we have 3 pencils? We're using pencils now, 3 pencils. And then you get 2 more pencils. And then you got 3 more pencils. All right, boys and girls? So first you got 3, then you got 2, and then you got 3 more. All right? Now, we're going to be grouping them though. All right, boys and girls? So we're going to group the first set that you got. So it is 3 plus 2, and it's equal to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you're going to add the next 3, the 3 to the 5, and it's equal to 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, what if I should group it a different way, where first you got 2, And then you got 3. So 2 plus 3 equals to 5. Very good. And then you got 3 more pencils. So 5 plus 3 equals to 8. Very good, boys and girls. Do you see that? Now, this property that we just used, we just applied in to add, is which property? Is it the commutative property or the associative property? It is the associative property. Yes, boys and girls. You know why? Because we grouped them. Very good. We grouped the items just now. Do we understand that, boys and girls? Very good. Now, what if this time now we are going to be subtracting? All right. So say we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 pencils, right? And your friends come to school and they did not have any pencils. You have 2 friends and they came to school today, and guess what? Earlier today, and they did not have any pencils. So you gave away 1 to one and 1 to the other. How many pencils you have remaining? You have 3 pencils remaining. Very good. So remember, you had 5 altogether and you took away 3. All right. Now look at this. Say for example, you had 2 pencils. No, 3 pencils. We want it to be 3. You have 3 pencils, right? And this time now you're going to be taking away 5, because remember you had 5 first and you gave away 2. So guess what? Instead of the 3, we're going to have the 2. So you have the 2 pencils. And this time you're going to give away 5. You're supposed to give away 5. All right, boys and girls? But guess what? You give 1 to one friend, you give 1 to Tim, and you give 1 to John. But guess what? Poor Mary and Sue and Lou, guess what? They did not have any pencils. All right. So guess what? You now don't have any pencils. So you're -3. So you don't have any more pencils to give it to Mary and Sue and who else again? And Lou. Very good, boys and girls. So you're in negative. You don't have any more to give to your friends. Do you understand that, boys and girls? So that what property is that when we're subtracting? That is the commutative property of subtracting. Very good, boys and girls. All right. Now, let us review before we finish today's lesson. So we're going to be reviewing today's lesson. So remember now, boys and girls, we looked at numbers overall. And in numbers today, we looked at addition and subtraction. But in doing that, we looked at the different properties of addition and subtraction. And the first property that we looked at today was the commutative property of addition. All right? And we say that the commutative property of addition is where you have the numbers that you are adding can be rearranged. You can change the order in which you add them, and the answer or the sum, as you know it, or the total will remain the same. That's a commutative property of addition. However, the commutative property of subtraction is where you rearrange the order in which you are subtracting, and the answer will not be the same. All right, boys and girls? Now, let us look at the associative property. Remember that for the associative property, it is where we group. So you will have a group of numbers and then you regroup them. You group them so that adding becomes easier. All right? And once you add them, no matter the group that you add first or second, the answer will be the same. That is for the associative property of addition. However, for the associative property of subtraction, when you regroup or when you group those numbers to subtract, the answer will not be the same. All right, boys and girls? So guess what I want you to do for me now? I want you to go into your mathematics grade 4 book, or if you're at grade 5 or grade 6, you're going to go to the table of content and you're going to be looking for the topic commutative property of addition and subtraction and the associative property of addition and subtraction. And you are going to practice, boys and girls. So that's when mommy or daddy or even grandma ask you, what is it that you have learned today? You are better able to share with them the concept that was shared with you today. All right, boys and girls, and be confident in it. Because remember, boys and girls, you are smart children, and you have this. All right. Until next time, boys and girls, my name is Shelly and Kelly, and I will see you next time.